that my passion is learning and connecting dots and seeing how people work together, how they achieve things, how they grow, how they live together in any stage, in any context, I would say. On a broader level, on a deeper level, I really love people. I think that's the main driver in my career, I would say.
Hi, I'm Tracy Lovejoy.
And I'm Shannon Lucas. We are the co-CEOs of Catalyst Constellations, which is dedicated to empowering Catalyst to create bold, powerful change in the world.
This is our podcast, Move Fast, Break Shit, Burn Out, where we speak with Catalyst executives about ways to successfully lead transformation in large organizations. And today we're incredibly excited to invite someone that we've known and gotten to work with for years, Patrick Vanbrabandt, who is an accomplished entrepreneur, a business leader. He is currently the CEO of the Carya Group, which is a highly innovative information technology services organization for the automotive dealership market. You can tell me if I missed anything there. Based out of Belgium, but rapidly expanding. Patrick also founded the nonprofit organization arm, part of Carya. The Carya Group cares to apply the company values, which we've gotten to learn a lot about and are so lovely to see them spreading into the social context, into society. Really, though, Patrick constantly inspires Shannon and I with his love of learning, which gets exhibited with his love of cars, his love of airplanes, and his love of wonderful adventures. And I already knew I was going to say that, Patrick, before we got to chat with you. And so to add to that, we just learned that Patrick is freshly back from Zanzibar in Tanzania, which totally proves the point that we are constantly inspired how you are out in the world exploring, learning, and bringing that knowledge back to everything you do. So thank you for the inspiration.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you.
Yeah, as we bring you into the conversation, we would love you to tell us about your career from a Catalyst perspective, right? What are those moments across time that you feel can help us see your catalytic nature?
Well, basically, I would say it started out all being an extreme nerd. I would say I was not the one going to the discos, but the one going behind my desktop and finding out all new kind of technologies. Luckily, that evolved quite quickly because I think through that I learned that my passion is learning and connecting dots and seeing how people work together, how they achieve things, how they grow, how they live together in any stage, in any context, I would say. That's why, like you said, I love traveling a lot, just to sit in the streets on the side and observe. And as you know, I've been many times to Silicon Valley and LA and in Florida and in New York and also China and Singapore. And the things that I learn are never on the program. They're always by observation that you see, hey, they do this that way, or they work in this way. So I think from early on, I was always driven to learn about how people work together and achieve things. I think on a broader level, on a deeper level, I really love people. I think that's the main driver in my career, I would say. And so even though I started out as a developer, making software, but even then, my goal as the software developer was just learning to see a wider range of customers and see in many different industries. And I loved seeing, hey, this guy works in that way in this company, and this woman works in that way in that other company in a totally different sector. Why don't they talk with each other? Because they can really influence each other. So it was the initial goal was, as a developer, try to learn as much as possible from as many industries as possible. But in the end, I ended up in the automotive industry predominantly, I would say, where I'm still very active as we speak today. Well, very active. The company has grown. I have a lot of catalysts now in the company. So they give me the time to follow my passion and travel even more and learn even more. And if I see what my role nowadays is in the company, it's more the inspirator and the coach and the teacher. I'm also more and more becoming the old dude that's oh my God, he's there. Don't tell him anything. So it's I guess it's a good thing if they think about that like me about. But yeah, that's in a long sentence what I am. I started out a developer, became an
It's
entrepreneur.
unusual, Patrick, to hear someone who describes themselves as an engineering nerd that then in a moment says they're driven by their love of people.
Mm-hmm.
Did you always know that? Was that
Oh,
discovered? Like how did that come to be?
it was gradually discovered, I would say, because I loved and still love technology in all possible ways, and even in the aviation, I would say the plane I just bought, it's basically half the price of the plane is the technology that's in it because I so much love and it's insane what the capabilities are right nowadays of these planes. But these technologies, my love and passion started there. But I gradually learned that if applied well, they can help people and in profound ways. And we see examples around us all every day, all day. I still have to say in most of the companies that I guide is like technology has to work for the people. It's not the other way around. Because as developers or sometimes companies, we think that people have to work for the technology. No, I learned it has to help the people. And then that was the first stage. And the second stage was more like, how can I help these people best? And then it was gradually realizing I need to learn more about them, the context where they work in. And first, I started in a company that provides lights to consumers, and then the next one was a wood shop company, and then and gradually we started on in a mining company, and every single time I discovered so many insights about how people can achieve together stuff, and then I saw it was not only technology; it's just how people talk, the challenges of communicating, the challenges of understanding each other. Like nowadays, the world is so much polarized because of all the communication tools we have around us. They're backfiring like hell. I would say, how can we use them for the better again? So these are the things that I mainly occupy my day nowadays with. And how can we bring again that sparkle of light and hope and from the bottom up, it's not that we are because we're a small entrepreneur in a small country that we can't make a difference. It's I think Elon Musk is a year younger than I am, so he did some stuff.
I can see why it's a natural place for you to move into a chief inspiration role. Because even just hearing you frame your experience in the set of questions, I know I feel inspired. We haven't talked anything about my background. I don't know if you know, when my days at Microsoft, I was a researcher. And I cannot tell you the number of times that a chief architect, because traditionally Microsoft is a place that really lauded technology first. And so these amazing engineering minds would create these technologies that had no audience. And so they
Yeah,
would literally bring me in on special projects and be like, Tracy, can you essentially justify why we might be able to leverage this? Is there an audience that might be able to use this? And so I just love how much you're helping ground us of that. For you, the catalytic energy coming out of engineering was, how can I help people? And then how can people come together to solve that? It's so beautiful.
yes, and again, what you say is very relevant and also for me very, very practical because it's I lived through these experiences again and again. When I was a young developer, I made some phenomenal software products that nobody could use. I mean, it was but they were brilliant. They were object oriented and inheritance and methods and oh, brilliant, brilliant. And then I showed it to the customer, and he was like, "Wow, that's insanely impressive." And can you now show me my product? I was like,
Right. Can you show me something I can use?
"Hey,
Oh, humility. I love it. So we have been talking around it, but would love to hear from you in your own words. How do you relate to the concept of catalyst?
well, for me, it was like an epiphany. I think that's the word I would say because for many years I've struggled with the many challenges I had. Yeah, I thought of myself as being a really bad communicator. Uh, sometimes thinking, because what I said didn't resonate, am I so stupid? I mean, is there something loose in my head or something? And then also this I see solutions, and I was so frustrated that I have a lot of people who see problems, and I was like, huh? Uh, how is it possible not to see a solution, but but see the problem straight away? And then it was also very frustrating for me to bring these people into the solution that I envisioned, I would say. And also, I'm a very bad finisher. I see a solution, I, 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 and I consider it almost solved, except the thing doesn't exist yet because nobody did it. So I'm already moved on to the next stage, and next stage, the next thing. So when I stumbled upon this book that you both of you brilliantly authored, it was for me an epiphany that finally I had a name to put on top of it. Hey, I'm a catalyst. And it's okay that you have these issues, hey, that you can burn out. It's not that you're that dumb. You're not that bad of a communicator. You're not uh, special. It's why you're special in a way, but it's okay to be special. And also it provided me quite a lot of context and solutions, predominantly on how I can address these issues. So from there on, it went, I would say, not incremental, but it was a big help. First, the relief, I would say, it was really a sense of relief that I first had, where I said, it is a thing. It's not just me. And then applying these methodologies and learning from the book has helped me tremendously and bringing in also the realization that if I'm not alone, probably there must be other ones there as well. And are they far away? Like black holes in the galaxy. Always love the fact that they were looking for black holes and there's just one close by, I would say. There is one rather close by. I mean, it's far away, but still. You find them in the most, I would say, in surprising places. And that's the second phase that I think that you both of you really helped in identifying them in our company, that even within our organization, there are also some catalysts, which I didn't expect. Some of them, this person has the ability to, but some of them were really surprising. And but all of them resulted in quite similar levels of catalysts, I would say, even till this day. We actually made a whole structure about it where we have a catalyst program in our company. It helps that I'm the boss. So that definitely helps. And I have a partner in crime. And together we have 2/3 of the company who says whatever I want to do it because you're always right. And he says I'm a great predictor of the future. I said if that were true, I would play on the lottery, of course. But the so this allowed us to start up this exercise where we grouped a bunch of people in our company and gave them, quite honestly, unlimited resources, I would say. Well, not unlimited resources, no oversight almost. I said it's well, because that is something that I saw as a catalyst myself. It's great that you're special and that you see solutions and that you're bad in communication and that you have to breadcrumb and stuff. But for me, the proof is in the eating of the pudding. I think it's so that was also something that I saw in my professional career when I started delivering results instead of talking about it, doing something with it. That it's where you feel the responsibility, I would say, that you felt as a given in the past. Now you take it as a pride point. And you see it in the people that we formed in our company as catalysts. They don't have oversight, but they feel the responsibility tremendously. They're like, we have earned this trust, we will not shame it. So and that's why we let them loose on whatever project they want to do, how they want to achieve it. We have our touch points where we try to challenge it sometimes, or where we disagree sometimes. And yes, sometimes I have the final say, but I can't remember one example where I applied it. It's more the experience that I sometimes bring to the table, because some of them are really young. That's also something that I find really fascinating. They're all over the place regarding ages. There's young people in that group. There's older people in that group. I have to be mindful of what I say nowadays.
Experienced people.
Experienced people,
Yeah.
but the young ones fire up the older ones, so the more experienced ones. So it has been a journey, but it has been a very, very great journey. It has and it's not because I'm with you in this podcast, but I was thinking about it when I was on holiday, and what are the things that made me proud in life? Because I off topic, I got reception of the plane. You're flying the plane home. There's the fire trucks with the water hoses welcoming you at the airport, and I felt this true sense of pride of being something like, wow, I achieved something that I dreamt of for my whole life, and now it's here, and it was difficult, and we did it. And it was a rare sense of pride that I encountered, and I feel the same sense of pride when I think about that Catalyst Group in my company. They have helped the company grow tremendously every month. Now we have budgets in our company, and for once it's great because we are outperforming the budgets every single month.
Congrats.
And I'm not there, which is even better. So no, I think when I think of every single one of them, I'm like extremely proud of that I helped them get to that level. Yeah.
It's been, I mean, we're just so grateful to have been on part of this journey with you. And I think like what you embody as a leader and have built into your culture is something that Melanie from the Catalyst Leadership Trust says often, which is like the empowerment plus accountability equals the results. But I also love part of what you're talking about, because with catalysts, you're like, they hold themselves accountable, which is not that you don't have some structures. And we love Evelyn also, and obviously Annalise, two of the people who are your co-conspirators in the Catalyst, program management. But the culture that you've built, and also, people should know, like you spent years also thinking about, self-managed teams, and just that beautiful accountability and empowerment that has hopefully contributed to part of the success. I'm curious, Patrick, like from the genesis, from what maybe your first thought was about the problems or challenges that either you or the company were facing, as you were like, well, let's activate these catalysts to tackle those problems. What were the original thoughts, and maybe has that pivoted, and what have you unlocked?
The original thoughts were always, as it is in every company, how can we do more with the same people and more efficiently, and but then it started to pivoting, like sometimes we as a company don't know what is good for us, but the people who work in the company, they do know, or they have great ideas. So I think initially we were more like hands down and saying, okay, we'll put them on that project and that project and that project. And it took us a while for us to say, hey, let's let loose of that. Let's just empower them and trust in them. And was something that Toto Wolff once said, the team manager of the Mercedes Formula One team. He said, my people do the victories, I do the mistakes. And it for me, I try to do the same, convey the same thing to these teams. Like, failure is an option. We are sometimes so blocked and held hostage by that feeling that oh my God, if we fail, everything will come crashing down. That is something that I also worked on to implement, to create a safe haven. So when we first thought, what will we do with the catalysts? We said, these and these projects. Then we said, let's let them loose, but also create a safe environment where they are accountable, but they can experiment. And if they fail, it is okay, as long as they don't bankrupt the company. But so far, so good. It's like, no. It's so I think these were crucial elements in getting where we are today.
Yeah, and I mean, I really want to like. I have really gotten a sense of that, like this, the sense of psychological safety that you guys had already, I think, like really intentionally built into the community. But the pivot to I remember some of the projects. It was like, oh, there's some differences going on in the different offices, and when this group across the silos got together, they were like, here's some opportunities for efficiencies that might have been harder to, to identify from the top down.
It is a collection of yes we can people. It is and they don't care too much about silos, and of course we encourage that also with some team building, but the main thing is they don't accept the given as an answer. They just go for challenging the established, I would say. And because if you're doing again and again and again the same thing over and over and over again while you're growing tremendously, something's very wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
There's another interesting point, which is so many companies, you started out saying, like, when we were thinking about this, it was like operational efficiency. How do we do more with less? And it's funny because when most people hear that, they're like, oh, that leads to burnout of our people, which in general, I wouldn't dispute. But what's interesting watching you guys identify this group of catalysts is catalysts are so excited to drive the impact that even if it's a little bit in addition to their day job, getting the kind of support and space and empowerment that you guys have given them is often the thing that will keep them engaged and there for a longer time. And I'm just wondering, like, have you seen with all of the changes, how that's related to sort of employee engagement and retention and things like that?
absolutely, I think burnout. um, I'm getting on some ice here, I guess, but burnout is when people feel they can't make a difference anymore, and
Yeah.
just stuck in a pattern, and that is totally the opposite of what a catalyst is achieving. I would say they are built to implement change, to drive change, to be the instigator of change, and I think that's the best medicine, I would say, for burnout. Of course, you have the day-to-day or the shit of yesterday business, of course. But yeah, you can handle that more, the shit of yesterday, if you have a perspective on the future, I would say. Then you make better decisions and better solutions to stuff that keeps following you. So no, yeah, absolutely. I think it's the best medicine against um, yeah, getting burned out. On the other hand, definitely not everybody is a catalyst. And I saw it, like I said, I am very active in the automotive industry. I visited many of these factories where I was privileged enough to walk among the how do you call it, the conveyor belts where they constructed the cars.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they were happy people. They were not robots. They were also really happy people, but they love seeing instant satisfaction of doing something. They put that door on that car. Look, the door is on that car, and they're very happy for it. A friend of mine has a stunning chocolate factory here in Belgium, the best chocolates, honestly. And I went to visit the company, and so much of that production is manual labor. And it struck me that all of them were laughing, big smiles on their faces. I was like, what is wrong here? I mean, you're the whole day standing in
Patrick's
front.
like, I can't imagine doing the same thing more than 5 times. Like, how can you be happy?
But they were driven by this purpose of delivering insanely good chocolates and
Yeah.
throughout the world, and they really believed in that purpose. And Isabel did a great job conveying that story again and again and again.
Mm.
And that's the thing. I mean, you have the catalysts and you have the leaders, but you need the people to help do the stuff, of course.
The implementation, to your point, that you thought you had the idea done. And none of it had been built, right? Like we have to move that in. All right, I have a follow-up question for you. I've heard so many peaking things. One thing was, especially in a changing world, if we're doing the same thing as you scale, something's wrong. But we also have to be taking care of yesterday's business. How do you, as the head of a highly functioning organization, how do you steer people through transformation without disrupting the existing business?
I have a very bad reputation on that, I would say, because I used to implement decisions overnight. So it wasn't the first time that I changed the support desk system in the weekend. So people left on Friday evening and on Monday morning found a totally new system that they had to use without any training, without any data in it, but it was way better. Yeah. Also, the flat organization that I implemented was like, I implemented it, I communicated it to the company on the day that I had to go to an event of one of our customers. So mid the conversation, which was going really bad, I left. I wasn't sure that there was a company when I returned, because that one went really bad, and actually visited luck by luck Zappos in Las Vegas shortly after that, and I saw that the pain was shared. I mean, they also had a huge amount of issues and physical pain almost in implementing this. But sometimes I need to be firm. I remember my implementation with flat organization was an example done too fast and not well. But I set out that I'm not going to change course. The course might change a little bit, but this is the way that I'm going, because I believe in the people. I don't believe in the managers. I believe in the people doing the things and that they know best. They need to be helped and tutored and coached and empowered to do stuff, which is kind of a challenge. But I remember 2 months or 3 months in, I mean, we don't have unions, but if we had unions, I mean, they would have stopped everything. And every week we have a staff meeting, especially at that time. And I just told them, I said, look, to the whole company, flat organizations fail for two reasons. The customers start complaining too much and they say, stop like what you're doing, go back to the old thing, or the CEO doesn't believe in it. Well, I can guarantee you, you have to either kill me or replace me. And it's difficult because I have a majority share. And or you have to set up all the customers against us. It's your choice. But this is the way that we're going. And what I saw, and on the many faces that day, was some people dropping their shoulders, but also a lot of people getting a sense of relief, like saying, this is the final reconfirmation. This is the direction that we're taking. And we might like it or not. We better work on it, that we're going to like it, because this guy is not going to change it. So sometimes I was too fast and too furious in my decisions and in my... But nowadays we are much more careful. We are breadcrumbing and we are working on convincing people. And I had a discussion recently with a couple of the catalysts. We do miss the old days, where we just rented a truck and drove through the shop.
You do miss them, or you don't?
We do.
You do? What is it you miss about that? I'm so curious.
The time not the time to convince the people, because you create a lot of aggravation in renting a truck and driving through a shop. Of course, it is a lot less if you start breadcrumbing and start convincing people of the values of it. But we missed the guerrilla style we had. We missed the cowboys. We used to have a pirate flag in our office, and that one's gone as well. And we're like, sometimes it would be fun just to do it.
Yeah. That can be such a drive for us, right? Of just to get it done.
We were like 20, 30 people then. Now it's 200 people. It's small by US standards, but still it's
big.
It's quite a lot of people to convince to go in a certain direction.
Well, it sounds like I'm sorry, I didn't
And
mean to cut you off.
yeah, we are now expanding throughout Europe because we feel that it's extremely important and that for the company, and it's also a message. It's like if we don't do it, we'll fail, we'll go bankrupt. But you can't. I tell it like that, but people in my company know me nowadays, and that I shouldn't tell that on a Friday afternoon on a staff meeting. But they understand nowadays because when I tell stuff like that, it's because I've already seen the solution, that I've already seen the future. And so they're like, okay, we'll go bankrupt. Fine, skip that part, go to the solution part and tell us what we should do. And that's the other thing that I do a lot of the time, just telling the same story again, again, again. Why are we doing this? Why are we going to that country? What's in it for us? What's the advantage for the customer, especially? Um, it's actually the two axes where I talk the most about. What change will we make for the customer, and what change will we make for the employees locally that we either acquired or start hiring, which is also insane. We with these acquisitions we stumble upon totally new cultures and I must say we are quite the challenging one. People that we acquire often used to have the top decides and we do what we're told, and now there's suddenly somebody saying, hey, you know best. You've been there. You know the customer. You tell me what we should do. And they're like, uh, we're not allowed to do that. Yes, you are allowed. And then but we see gradually that we do that more and more proficiently in these other cultures as well. And we actually now are working on making this switch more profound instantly. Like we just acquired another company and we could stay in the same office and the management could stay and I said no, clean start instantly, a new office, a far better looking office, more expensive office, but I think it's so much more important that it's far more better looking. People will feel, hey, this is different, this is a new vibe, eh? Management were not taking over. We're like, no, thank you, we'll do ourselves. So yeah, and it's great when you see other cultures can be enriching, but they can also
Yeah.
be anchor, I would say.
It's the place you and I started, as I got talked a little bit about your bio and you brought it in, is that you're a learner, and it's so fun to get to hear throughout history those two seeds of the engineering problem solving you and the person who loves to observe and loves people. And that's what I hear at each stage is being clear on the problems that there are to solve and what the vision is, and then thinking about the people involved and how you have to keep iterating because you are at a different size and it's a different group of people and there's different cultural realities, and you have learned to flex and learned where your not strengths were, and be able to grow yourself or bring others in. It's really beautiful. Thank you. I haven't gotten to hear this story in this much detail. I really appreciate it.
I would just add, I just really, really appreciate your commitment to this empowerment, and yeah, I think that's the best word for it. And even as you're encountering new cultures, new ways, it would be so easy for most people to be like, oh, the easy path is to go the way that everyone has always worked. But you're like, no, I'm so committed to this. Like, you're gonna have to kick me out or kill me. This is how committed I am to it. And then thinking, like Tracy said, intentionally about what that means in terms of bringing new people along. It's such a great model, Patrick. Thank you for embodying that and sharing that with us.
Thank you.
All right, fun question time.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite famous catalyst, past or present, and why?
Well, on the top of my head, I have to say Snoop Dogg, of course, especially with the great contribution that he did in Paris with the Olympics. But if you get into the story of this guy, it is insane, and on all levels, on humanity level, on business level, of course, on music level, of course. But for me, he's like the epitome of being the odd one out that has so much in it. Look like he now in the Olympic Games brought together so many joy and people and enthusiasm about the sports. It was even picked up in many countries around the world. So I think on many levels he's been very inspirational to a lot of people, but I think he's a true catalyst in that he also gets frustrated, I guess, on not getting the point across sometimes, but he has become an insanely great communicator.
Amazing. That's probably unexpected for most of our listeners. And I would say you're a rebel in your world too, Patrick. So thank you for that fun one. Thank you so much, as always, for this amazing conversation. Tracy and I legitimately learn something from you every time we talk. So we're grateful for your wisdom.
Oh, the same here. I always, when I get more energy. I was a little bit tired. I had a long day today, but now I'm full with new energy now. So it's
That's a lovely compliment.
Thank you. To our listeners, thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to learn more about how to create bold, powerful change in the world, be sure to check out our book, Move Fast, Break Shit, Burn Out, or go to our website at catalystconstellations.com.
And if you enjoyed this episode as much as Shannon and I both have, please take the 10 seconds to rate it on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever it is that you listen to your podcasts, and send a share link to the other catalysts in your life, because that's how we learn about who we are.